Good afternoon, folks. My name is Kurt Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. Purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. I'll determine if there's probable cause for those charges. Probable cause simply means it's more likely than not that a crime has occurred, and more likely than not that you're the person who committed that crime. Of course, as you stand before me this afternoon, I presume you're innocent of these allegations. That presumption of innocence will stay with you through every stage of the proceedings, unless and until the state attorney's office is able to prove the allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. We'll set your conditions of pretrial release this afternoon. That means your bail or bond. In most cases, you've had a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit with a warrant which led to your arrest. I'll determine if that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or that there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. I'll let you know when your next court date will be. If you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I'll gladly appoint the PD to represent you this afternoon. You do have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you haven't had a chance to make that call, please let me know. We'll make sure that that happens. Finally, and most importantly, you're advised that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts that surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is an assistant state attorney in the courtroom with me. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. Now I need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. You all solemnly swear or affirm, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth? Outstanding. When you hear your name called, please step forward to the podium. Tammy Roberts. Afternoon, Ms. Roberts. What's your date of birth?
2/12/63.
Ms. Roberts, I've got 3 charges today, loitering and prowling, trespassing, and resisting without violence. There's probable cause for all 3. As to those charges, would you like to represent yourself? Do you plan to hire a private lawyer? Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll appoint the PD, State.
Your Honor, I'm petty theft, adjudication of guilt in 2017, El Paso County, history, Your Honor.
Okay. Tammy, I've got an address for you on Tampa Street. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
3 years.
Do you have a job these days?
Yes, I'm a caretaker.
Okay. Tammy, I'm going to set your bond at $500 on each count, so the total is $1,500. I'll have you back in court on the 1st of May. Very important that you contact the public defender when you get out, okay?
Yes. Can I possibly get the caretaker? I live with somebody that I take care of. He's an elderly man.
Okay. I reduced it by 1,000, Tammy. That's the best I'm going to do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Henry Alicia. Oops, sorry. Afternoon, Henry. What's your date of birth?
1/13/83.
Henry, you're here on a warrant signed by Judge Merritt. Apparently you failed to appear in his court on Friday relative to a charge of possession of controlled substance. Looks like you had the public defender before. Henry, do you want to stay with the public defender?
Yes. And April 8th, it was my court date, the 8th. So I got the paper in my girl's possession, and I'm out on bond right now for this case.
Brother, I checked the paperwork because I was concerned about that. It says the 5th. I'm not happy about you being held without bonding. Henry, I looked at the paper you signed. It says the 5th. Jay, what's the very next date you could get in front of Judge Merritt? All right. So Henry, I'm gonna leave you bond and no bond, but I will move you up to the 16th of April. They told you the 30th. I'll have you back on the 16th. PD is gonna come see you before that and see if there's anything else they can do. Okay?
Can I take probation?
Not from me, unfortunately. You got to go back to a circuit judge. All right. Thank you.
All right.
Michael Burdick. Afternoon, Michael. Date of birth?
5/19/69.
Michael, the charge is felony retail theft. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
All right. He's got a bunch of cases pending. Has he still got bond on any of these, or did he get revoked somewhere along the way? You've been in jail a little while now, right, Michael?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll leave the bond then for the page 2, which was $5,000. I'm going to move this so that it's with all your other felony cases. Look like they're all on April 16th, so we'll move it together with those. Okay?
Thank you.
Judge, this was committed after this petty theft. I thought was committed after.
It is, but I don't understand. He's had tons of them after.
And he got out on bond, and then on March, I think it was March 6th, he went back in.
Right.
So.
Say it again.
I'm showing bond.
Yeah, I don't know why. But see, so the problem I have Ben now is that means he's been appearing in court in front of the judge that has his cases, and they're not RCOing him. And so this is an odd one. So I'm not going to do it now because they've had chances to, and they aren't. He hasn't been out of jail for a month. So I'll leave it the way it is, and we'll leave it to Judge Merritt's sound discretion.
Thank you, Judge.
Yep. Anthony Cole. Afternoon, Anthony. What's your date of birth?
114-87.
Anthony, I've got 2 retail theft. There's probable cause on both of them. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. Stay with me. Tell me.
An adjudication in 2018 for no valid driver's license and failed to register motor vehicle. 2018 guilty of false name to Leo and an out-of-state Ohio theft, adjudication of guilt in 2012.
Anthony, I have an address for you on Loma Avenue in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
Over here.
You have a job these days?
I work for the landlord for rent.
Okay. Set the bond at $500 on each count. The total's $1,000. They're both coming back on the 1st of May. When you get out, make sure you contact the public defender's office, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Fred Duke. Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
4374, sir.
Fred, I got 2 charges today, loitering and plowing and resisting without violence. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD, Steve.
2015 resisting officer with violence, adjudication of guilt, and a disorderly adjudication of guilt in 2015 out of Homestead County. Adjudication of guilt in 2010 for petty theft, where a county jail sentence was imposed in 2010. Adjudication withheld in 2010 for paraphernalia and cannabis. Paraphernalia in 2010, adjudication withheld. An essential listed chemical possession, state prison, adjudication of guilt back in 2010 out of Hernando County. Marijuana possession in 2000. No other history, Your Honor.
Fred, to have that address on Tampa Street, is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long you been there?
Roughly 6 months, but I lived in Spring Hill like almost all my life.
Okay.
For about, yeah.
Okay, you have a job these days?
Off and on, I do flooring.
Okay. Fred, I'll set your bonds at $500 each count. The total's $1,000. Have you back in court on the 1st of May. Make sure you contact the PD when you get out, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Dustin Husky? Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
01/27/1987.
Dustin, the charge is trespass. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll appoint the PD, Steve.
No prior history, Your Honor.
Dustin, where you been staying lately, and don't tell me the Oaks Motel.
No, I got an address in Homosassa. I'm heading towards Pasco, though.
Okay. Someplace you know you're going to be at?
I've got a disability check, and my friend's supposed to be bringing it to me. I'm going to get a room up there, a hotel.
Okay. Is he time served, Steve?
Yes, Your Honor.
Dustin, if you want, you can take care of this today. I'd give you time served to be adjudication of guilt and credit for the one day you did. And then you'd get out today and this would be over with. Is that something you're interested in?
Yes, sir. Please and thank you.
All right. You understand by entering a plea, you give up the right to have a trial by jury, the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to remain silent, and the right to have a lawyer, but you want to give up those rights so we can take care of this today?
Yeah.
As to the charge of trespass, how do you wish to plead? You can plead no contest, Dustin. You want to plead no contest?
Yes.
I'll accept that plea, find it's freely and voluntarily made, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 1 day in the county jail. Fine in court costs us $5.53 and $50 for the day in jail, but that takes care of it, Dustin. If there's nothing else keeping you in the jail, they're going to let you out today, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Very good.
And Judge, if you
Unappoint the
appointed
public
us, could you
defender.
unappoint us?
Yep, I did it in writing. John Liu. Afternoon, John. What's your date of birth?
10/12/79.
John has 3 charges today: possession of methamphetamine and 2 counts of possession of oxycodone. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
I'd like to plea out.
I can't take a plea. Unfortunately, it's a felony charge, and they don't let me do those. So,
And,
public defender?
yeah.
There you go. I'll appoint the PD. Stay. What can you tell me?
Just a battery adjudication in 2008.
Okay. John, I have an address for you on Archer Avenue in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you been there?
Long time, past 10 years.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
Yes.
What do you do?
Server.
What do you do for work?
Server across the street from where you're at. Cross
Okay.
Street Market.
Okay. All right. On the meth, I'll set your bond at $1,000 on the first charge of Oxy, at $500 on the second charge at ROR, so your total is $1,500. I'm going to have you back on the 30th of April. Very important that you contact the public defender when you get out, all right, John?
Yes.
Thank you. Eric Moreno?
Daisy coming back.
Yes, sir.
4:30.
Eric, what's your date of birth?
8/10/82.
Eric, I have 2 charges today. I've got a battery being domestic in nature and assault being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Private attorney, sir.
Very good. State, what can you tell me?
An adjudication for a felony battery where a prison sentence was imposed, November 2017. A adjudication for an aggravated battery, November 2017, with the concurrent prison sentence imposed. Adjudication withheld in 2011 for obstructing or resisting an officer without violence. Actual constructive possession synthetic, adjudication withheld, Your Honor, 2011, as well as a possession of cocaine in 2011. And that was out of Pinellas County. Adjudication was held in 2006 for resisting without violence out of Miami.
Eric, where have you been staying lately?
7190 63rd in St. Peter's in Pinellas Park. I've been there for over 10 years.
Yep.
Also, the victim admitted that I didn't put a hand on her, so I didn't know if that...
That's called an assault.
I know, but she admitted that I never touched her.
Well,
That all I did was yell.
Okay. I also have testimony from another witness that says otherwise. As I mentioned earlier, the standard here today is probable cause. So that's a low standard, and that's all we're saying for now. I also mentioned that I presume that you're innocent of these allegations, and that presumption will stay with you. So with all of that, do you have a job these days?
Yes, sir. I'm a contractor.
Okay, what do you do?
I do ceilings, commercial ceilings, hanging frame and acoustic ceilings, and flooring.
Okay. All right. I'm going to set your bond at $2,500 on each count. The total is $5,000. Condition is that you'll have no contact with Elena Russo. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message. Don't contact her through any social media. Don't have a third person contact her. Don't go where she lives. Don't go where she works. Don't have any contact of any kind. Any way that you might imagine contacting her, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact with her and we find out about it, your bond will be revoked and you'll be held without bond until the charges are resolved. It means no contact even if she wants the contact. So if you answer your phone and hear her voice, you should hang up. If you're out and about and see her, you should turn around and run the other way. You need to understand that she cannot drop the charges against you. That's not a decision she gets to make. She might go to the state attorney's office and tell them she'd like the charges dropped, but that decision belongs solely to the assistant state attorney who will be handling your case. So unless that person or your lawyer or the judge on your case tells you the charges are dropped, you should assume they are not dropped and you should not have contact. In addition, I have to hold you up until 4 p.m. this afternoon so that if she wanted to serve you with a civil injunction for protection against domestic violence, we'd know where to find you. If you get the civil injunction, it's doubly important that you not have contact, because in that case, not only could you get your bond revoked here, but you could get new charges for violating the injunction. You'll be back in court on the 1st of May. Very important that you share that date with your attorney when you speak to him, all right?
So is it 10%? Would be 500 or something?
Well, that'll be up to the bondsman. I'm just setting the bond. You'll have to speak to a bondsman, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephen Norsworthy. Afternoon, Stephen. What's your date of birth?
9/12/93.
There you go. Stephen, I have 3 charges today. I have an aggravated battery, possession of controlled substance, possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you're going to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, and what were the charges again, sir? I couldn't quite hear you.
Aggravated battery, possession of
Yes, sir.
controlled substance, and possession of drug paraphernalia.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. State, what can you tell me?
An adjudication in 2014 for a grand theft out of Tampa, as well as the charge of dealing traffic stolen property, verification ownership, secondhand dealer under $300, a grand theft charge as well, and a burglary charge and adjudication of guilt, all out of Tampa. A petty theft adjudication in 2013, and a burglary unoccupied conveyance in 2013, adjudication of guilt. No other history, Your Honor.
Okay. Stephen, I have an address for you on Spring Hill Drive. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir. 1036 4 Spring Hill Drive. I've lived here for 3 years with my wife.
Okay.
I work out here at High Tech Trust in Brooksville.
Okay.
And I also live with a disabled man that rents out of my house.
Okay.
I'm like the primary caretaker of all of them.
Set the bond on the egg battery at $2,000, on the controlled substance at $1,000, on the paraphernalia at $500. That's a total of $3,500. I'll have you back in court on those on the 30th of April. Very important that you contact the public defender when you get out, okay?
Hey, excuse me, sir. Is there any way you could be a little bit more lenient on the bonds or the date? Because, like I said, I am the sole provider of my household, and
Stephen, I don't mean to be personally offensive to you in any way, but I've been doing this for 14 years. And your reasons for a bond are not new or original or novel in any way. I hear it all the time. Nor do they have anything to do with the decision that I make on bond. You came in with a $7,000 schedule bond. Now you have a $3,500 bond, so I cut it in half. So that's as good as it's going to get. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Wesley Scheidenhelm, excuse me. Afternoon, sir. Date of birth?
9760.
Wesley, the charge is battery being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll point to PD, State.
An adjudication of guilt in Pinellas County for marijuana possession, as well as a deliver cannabis over 20 grams, adjudication of guilt, and a violation of the drug law, injure Leo, EMT, others, adjudication of guilt in 84 out of Pinellas County.
And, sir, I have an address for you on Tranquility Lane in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Correct.
How long have you been there?
I've been there for, in that house. I just bought it, so I've been there for a year.
All right. Does Matthew live there as well?
Yes, he does.
Do you have a job these days?
Do I? Yes, sir.
What do you do?
I'm a superintendent for a construction company out of Clearwater.
All right, sir, I'm going to set your bond at $500. Condition of the bond is that you have no contact with Matthew. Did you hear me explain no contact earlier?
Yes, I did.
Did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
All right. Also have to hold you up until 4 p.m., so if you wanted to serve you with an injunction, we know where to find you. As far as that address on Tranquility, if Matthew continues to stay there, you'll have to find someplace else to stay until we get this resolved. If he moves on, of course, then you can go back. If he is staying there, you can go by one time to collect your things, your clothes, your toothbrush, whatever you need, wherever you plan to stay. To do that, however, you must contact the sheriff's office first. They would meet you there with a deputy who will stand by while you collect your things and get going where you're going. You'll be back in court on the 3rd of May. Very important that you contact the public defender if you get out, all right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Reuben Beeman. Good afternoon, Reuben. Change of plea. Somebody know what the deal is?
After driving, suspended FTA off your docket. He now has 3 days in. And originally we weren't appointed. It was a notice to appear.
Okay.
But we may have been over the weekend.
Okay. So it's credit time served now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Reuben, you want to take credit time served on the suspended license charge?
Yes, sir.
Very good. You understand by entering a plea today, you give up the right to have a trial by jury, right to confront the witnesses against you, right to remain silent. But you want to give up those rights so we can take care of this today?
Yes, sir.
Case number 19 CT 570 as the charge that you drove knowing your license had been suspended or revoked. How do you wish to plead? You can plead no contest.
Would it be better? No, guilty.
No contest means you're not fighting the charge, Reuben. That'll do. I'll accept your plea. I'll find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty. Sentence you to 3 days. Credit 3 days. Fine and court cost was $488, and your cost of incarceration, to the extent the PD was appointed, I'll unappoint him. But that takes care of it, Reuben. If there's nothing else keeping you in the jail, you will be released today, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck. And
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Can I just say, you guys have been, this was a real blessing. I'm a writer. I just got published, and I'm really trying to do good things in my life. I have a website that I promote other people from the wrong side of the track putting their art and their writing on my website.
Okay.
I'm trying to help people right now. I'm trying to do different things with my life. I've got a long history of robberies and assaults and thefts, and I'm trying to do something different. And I just thank you. I thank you today for letting me out.
Amen. Keep it up. Thanks, Reuben.
Yeah.
Eduardo Martinez. Do you have an Eduardo Martinez there?
Richard parking IDs on the outside. All the way up, please.
Jail, is there an Eduardo Martinez there? ¿Dónde está Eduardo Martinez? No está aquí. I'm going to take that as a no.